Hello internet, hello wotv players, I'm Jackie Fox, and today we're going to be talking a bit more about the worldwide update, and in the background I'm going to be showing off over 1,000 polls between several accounts, because I didn't whale out on any of them, so I didn't get that many tickets, but I have spent some money, especially on my main, over the years at this point, so I've done quite a bit of polls, and I've been pretty diligent in getting all the free-to-play viz that I possibly can. So yeah, 536 polls it's going to be. So let's talk about what the worldwide change is going to mean for us, what it won't mean for us. Let's get some misconceptions out of the way, and let's get this figured out, because I think one of the biggest good things that's going to come of this is faster UI updates, because it's felt like to me, and I try to get this across in a number of Gumi economics videos, and including my last one, that it feels like to me sometimes that the dev team doesn't really have time to work on things like UI, just because they're kind of getting behind on the amount of content that they're putting out. And compared to other gachas, this isn't even necessarily pushing a lot of content per week. I mean, especially compared to like FFBE, it's not pushing a lot of content per week. So it's gotta be that they're feeling a little bit overwhelmed, and it's a shame that it takes 4 months for those UI changes to filter down into the global version from JP. Like, there's certainly a lot of things that we've seen recently, and a number of things that ended up getting included with this patch, like the ability to turn off affinity for purposes of getting your units not to bunch in certain patterns. There's just a lot of things that were added to the game with this recent patch, which make it amazing for me, because I've been asking for a lot of different types of UI changes, and a lot of the UI type fixes that we have seen, or a lot of the UI fixes that I've been asking for in a roundabout sort of way, actually have come through in this update. And I'm really excited for that. Like, there's so many UI updates and fixes that I don't even really have time to talk about them all, other than like the affinity one. A good one that's being showcased in this is actually the ability to summon 100 times, or use 100 summon tickets at a time, which is really great, especially for stuff like Guild Raid. Like, Guild Raid feels like an STD. Like, you're gonna get those awful tickets that you can only spin 10 at a time, but you're gonna have hundreds of them. And otherwise, they're just going to sit there staring at you like a cold sore, right? It's just, they're disgusting to me. And I want them to go away because they aren't even that valuable. But now, I can burn those 100 at a time, and it actually makes Guild Raid like a little bit more appealing to me than it was getting there for a while. And there's just a lot of little updates like this that have been helpful. I'm still hoping that we get the barracks update that JP just got, to where you can like one-click-ish fill your barracks, which is just something I've specifically asked for. But there's just a lot of cool UI stuff, and just the idea of not waiting the full 4 months to do a UI update. That was one of my big requests around the time that everybody was talking about Vizgate. So, here we are. And finally, some of the things that I was saying are actually my long-term issues with the game are being fixed. Another thing that I said is I would like this game to be more generous with free tickets, and holy shit, if they do this 3 times, and we can talk more about what the other 2 parts of the roadmap to worldwide, or whatever it was called, could be, but this is part 1. Remember that. Like, a lot of people, I think, aren't recognizing that there are 2 other parts of this, and there could be other things that they do to make it up to us happening in between. Like, there's a lot of room. These tickets are not the only thing. It's a good start. That's all it should be recognized as. This isn't good enough. Many people are right to be pointing that out, but it also wasn't designed to be. It was designed to be a first and 3-part strategy, and I'll talk about what some of those latter parts could be to make this all super worth it. But all of that cool stuff being said, I think another big advantage of having a 1 month window as opposed to a 4 month window is that units still come out while they have hype. It also means that I'm not getting 4-month-old sloppy seconds as a content creator from the JP side. There's still some combos to explore and some ideas to try out for me. There is some team building for me left to do that someone hasn't already done and uploaded 3 months before I could even get my hands on the unit, right? So that's exciting to me as a content creator, and also something that's potentially, I guess, scary and should go in the next section of the video for JP content creators. But after hearing Umbra Rays on this, and he, look, for better or for worse, he can be a little bit of a dark cloud at certain times, and he wasn't too upset about it. So I would say that, well, if you haven't made Umbra sad, then you're doing pretty good, I guess, for how JP content creators feel about this. And then finally, like, biggest hype, Barts. I know we didn't have the guild pulls, and those really only help you buy 10 shards on day 1, but we did get some additional stuff in the banners that actually made it possible, in combination with all these crazy tickets giving me a ton of soul stars and a ton of UR vision medals and other vision medals and all sorts of stuff that can be used to buy more tickets and more resources down the road. Which shouldn't, like, it's not just about the pulls. It's not just about me getting Alaya and me getting Howlet and later on me also getting Daddy Reagan, because this game really wants me to play Ice, I guess. You know, there is Bart's, and the ability to 140 him in one day is not something that I would have had before as a free-to-play player. I really only had to save up about 20,000 viz, all of it free, no paid viz among it, to be able to do this. Other than what I got from the tickets, because those tickets just got me so much of those other resources that buying Mind Spheres and buying shards and going up to that like 10 cost limit, where I just quit buying shit, that made this doable. And it hasn't been ever really doable to make it to the top level of a character's power without spending some sort of paid viz. Like, that is just a thing that didn't used to be a thing you could do as a free-to-play, and now you can. It's going to cost you maybe an extra 10,000 viz to do it. It's not the cheapest process. It is kind of raising the amount of resources that you might want to save for units, but the reincarnation system has already done that anyways. But, like, I remember getting Sakura and actually like paying actual money into the game because I thought Sakura was going to be awesome. Womp womp. Like, no offense, Sakura isn't terrible, but like she just wasn't what I was hoping for. She did carry me through the beginning of the game though, so there's that. I guess she was a worthy investment, but even then it took me like, and I don't even think there was an option for like gil shards at that point. That would have helped quite a bit. That's been a newer, that's not a thing that we always had. So there's a lot of people who are like, I'm a day 1 player, I remember it used to be different. Yeah, do you remember not having gil shard pulls at all? Right, okay, well, there we go. So with all of that being said, I think, let's talk about the bad. Honey, I just want to let you know that it's going to be okay. I know you're going through a lot right now, and I know that you have a lot of very valid concerns, but I want to let you know that no matter what happens with Worldwide, it's not just happening to you. It's happening to us. The biggest bad, the one that was acknowledged directly in the producer's letter, was that there's essentially going to be 5 months of units crammed into 2 months of space. And that means that if nothing changes, if we make the assumption that nothing will change, and I feel like that's probably a pretty good assumption to make, in that, at least in terms of like the amount of free viz we'll get, I doubt that will go up. Like, just straight up honest, I doubt the amount of free viz we will have available to us will go up significantly. There might be some extra viz handed out here or there, one way or another, but I doubt it's going to be a lot. What that is doing to a lot of people who, I don't know if they have impulse control issues or they think they're playing Pokemon. This isn't Pokemon, and we are stronger than just you. We can all work together and we can make this work for each other. It's not that anyone is singling you out or trying to ruin your day. This is something that happens to each one of us. And so long as none of us quit, we are all a team. So let's work together and let's remember that we are not going through this alone, but we will make it through this together. You know, when Worldwide was first announced, when I first started reading the update, I thought, oh, cool. That means I can square up with like Umbra Rays and PST and all these Japanese or JP YouTubers that I've been seeing. Like, you know, I could square up with PST and see who has the better strike team. I don't know. Like, that would be so cool. That I've been watching these JP content creators for, you know, in Umbra's case, like 5 or 6 years, and I would be able to finally challenge them and see if I could be. Like, you know, it's always been in the back of my head. I guess I can be a little competitive in that respect. But no, those servers will not be merging. We will not be able to play with JP players. JP players will be playing with us. Guilds won't get mixed up. All of that stuff, they are still going to be completely separate. Addition to that, our vision cards that have global buffs are going to stay that way. And yeah, so like it's weird. It's going to have the same name, but very little is going to change for our actual app. The big change, the thing that's actually going to be a change, is how quickly we get units after they're released in JP and how quickly we get UI updates from when they were released in JP. Those are the big changes. The app itself really isn't changing much more than its name and maybe its display. And eventually, maybe some of that could change, but I've heard a lot of people say that this just isn't a thing that's really super feasible to do from a server perspective. But what that also means is that you, as a global player, are never going to have to square up with those JP players that could take it easy for those 4 or 5 months and collect all sorts of good units through them. It means that as global players, all of us equally, more or less, are going to be stuck in a situation where we're going to have to pick and choose among those characters. We are all equally fucked. We're all in this together. I know it's not going to feel great for any of us, but remember that it's happening to all of us. So we are all on the same playing field. And remember that you don't have to spend money on this game. Like, you can take back control of your impulses and just not buy everything that you see, even if you had intended to do so. And I know expectations, you've been thinking that you were going to have a lot more time for this. I was thinking that there was going to be a lot more time between, say, like Roth and Bart's so that I could get them for a Dark and Light account. But that really wasn't the way that things seem to be working out, unfortunately. And, you know, I don't know what to tell you if you can't accept that things can change in life and that it can be okay and that, you know, the world isn't going to end. Some of you may have a certain level of autism and you're just like, Jackie, you don't get it. I really dislike change. And, you know, I feel you, but there's only so much we can control in our lives. And I think that there are a lot of people who tend to get freaked out about these things, who maybe feel like there isn't a ton that they can control within their life. And so because of that, they try to micromanage this game. And then when something changes, when something breaks that illusion of fine control, they just go nuclear because now they have no control anywhere in their life and they're forced to face that. And then from them, that negativity spreads so much faster than positivity. There are so many good things about this, I think, for the players who stick around and don't get upset that trying to roll out what's probably a couple months worth of UI updates, much needed UI updates, might I add, while handing out just a ridiculous amount of free tickets and the strongest free unit ever. I would say that Bartz is stronger than Addison Rae, I think. I don't know. But also, there's people who are still mad about Addison Rae, and again, like, I don't get... There's just so much that doesn't really make sense together, like, people being mad at this game for not being free-to-play friendly when it hands you 200 cost, top-of-the-line units for free back-to-back. Somehow there's a personal grievance against Addison Rae, and, like, I don't get it, but I didn't get it with Katy Perry. I didn't get it with, like, Ariana Grande either. I mean, I don't care. And it's even easier with Addison Rae specifically for me because I have no idea who she is. And could not care less. That I can just pretend that she's from another... Fuck it, I don't care. She's from somewhere I've never heard of. Collaborations happen. I have an Addison Rae. I can pretend she's an original character made up for this game. It makes me feel happy. I like using her. She's a cool unit. She does really fun thing for team compositions and brought an interesting breath of life into the strategy of this game, especially in Arena. And I look forward to more teams where I see her thrown in on some random elemental composition. She's cool. And people are still upset about that somehow and think that that's a major failure. I would say if you're feeling like overwhelmed by negativity, log off of Reddit or just social media in general, because these things really go viral amongst us, but there's a lot of reasons to be hopeful and happy about what's happened here. But this is the good, bad, and the angry, so let's talk about some angry. Well, we've got the Gil Shards debacle to begin with, and I hopped on this one right away because I wanted my Gil Shards. I didn't see my Gil Shards. But it was day one of a patch. I don't know how many of you remember this. I specifically remember this. When Final Fantasy VII Remake first collabed with War of the Visions, the quest to get Buster Sword recipes was horrendously broken, would crash your game every time for every one within the first move. There was no way to take out a unit before it did a special thing. There was no way around this glitch. It happened immediately upon starting the level and completely broke it, froze up your game and everything. Major glitch. That made, like, his signature weapon unfarmable. It was an absolute disaster. This is not the biggest glitch that we have ever seen as War of the Vision players, and it was a glitch. There are some other glitches and some other questionable choices, and well, we'll swing over to Reddit and the comments in my previous video to see some more of those bugs and some more of those comments. But the one thing that I do want to point out here is that it is for sure a thing. After spamming your polite, I'm sure completely polite tickets about the glitch where these shards weren't available, they will now be available, and there are compensation for the amount of shards that were unavailable for purchase. Some more of this stuff, because look, I feel like a very large amount of this righteous and probably deserved anger was over the Gil Shards, so now they're up. And what happens is, once there is a, like a critical fault that someone sees, And these gil shards were won. Like, I saw it immediately. Everybody saw it immediately. No one liked that. You know what I mean? But it was day one. You could, again, send tickets, tell them they've made a mistake, and not, like, react within that first day. Give it a day, because I'm recording this on Thursday. I let day one happen, and they have already addressed the issue with the gil shards. Like, this just isn't good. You don't have to buy everything that exists. Alright, I actually kind of want to look at this one. How does losing what's left of your trust customers promote sales? Your plan all along was to cut costs by discrediting and removing all of avenues of resource game provided in game, basically cutting it freed out from every kind of player across the board. Bro, this is day one of you not getting 10 shards. This is your reaction. No doubt you have considered how ridiculously scummy you truly are through these actions by preying on our cost fallacy syndromes. That's sunk cost, by the way. Just putting that out there. There are a handful of color phrases I'd like to say. I'm going to stop reading this because I'm not sure that English is Christian Cosmic's first language, and I don't want to, like, you know, unintentionally make fun of the way they wrote that. It's been one day. Like, why do we, this is a bigger thing for just people, but, like, why do we immediately jump to the worst thing and just, like, freak out? Like just lose our shit immediately. Usually they're a little less consequential than these two. This is definitely the most consequential glitch we've seen in a while. And maybe not a sign of how things are going to go. Maybe they did too much. Maybe they tried to add too much UI. But as long as they're timely in fixing this and can fix it in a timely manner. And I'm really curious how quickly they could do that. And will. But they're already jumping on it as we speak. So that's a good sign, I would say. Coins awarded on the 5-step banners for VCs. Oh, this was already implemented about a month ago. Well, that is unfortunate. Training pack reduced from 80 to 40 shards. Oh, I didn't know that went down because I still didn't really think about it. I guess that would have been good if I ever... I don't know. I feel like spending paid viz on shards. I don't know how y'all are buying your paid viz or like how many credit cards you've opened to do that, but like buying thousands of paid viz at a time to blow it like this, that seems... Have you considered getting a 401k or talking with a financial representative about a Roth IRA or something like that? Like if you have the kind of money to buy that even at 80 shards, invest in your retirement, please. You'll have a lot more fun going on vacation as the world is ablaze than you will having 80 more shards for I don't think anybody lied. I'm also not gonna pick on this person's English. How about you use the daily mega thread? I actually did because I remembered the flare question, but I should use the daily mega thread. Another one. I can't believe so many people like don't think it was intentional, especially when JP got them. See, at first I was thinking like, was this when JP didn't get them? And then I rewatched some streams and I was like, nope, nobody's complaining about it, so I assume they're still there. But like also, okay, so this many people in general freaked out in one way or another. Not you. You guys are cool. This many big spenders well, maybe not even big spenders, but this many spenders freaked out within 1 day. Although, actually, for the spenders, I will say the H pack disappearing, and we'll check that out in game and see what's happening there. I think I know what they're talking about. That actually is kind of annoying for spenders, and a specific problem for them, I guess. I don't think I've ever bought it, because like, if I actually buy Viz, I get the big packages like this, and only when they're way, way, way on sale. Like, I probably wouldn't get this, but like, or these, like, come on, that's almost 2,000. You can get, if you save up some other stuff, and it's only like 20 bucks. If I'm gonna spend, I'm getting that kind of stuff, not spending 2K. And like, the idea of spending 2K paid on 80 shards seems ridiculous. 79? Is that the big one that is the big one that I remember, so that's what I was, so that's 6. Okay. I mean, I don't really have a reference on what it used to be necessarily. Y'all really be spending money like that? This is kind of ridiculous. Wait, no, this is Pack F? Wait, hold up. Why is the bonus free so low? Oh, because these are the really bad ones. The free bonus is where it's... yeah. So, like... this is all new to me. I've never bought any of these. I bought this occasionally. I feel like this is a good deal. You know, because I log in every day anyway, so I feel like I can get the extra bonus out of that, and also some skip tickets. But now I'm confused. No, it's H-Pack. Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe my mind just recoiled at the idea of people actually buying the H-Pack. Oh, good lord. That is really expensive. I mean, it's here. Did it used to cost less? No, Pack H in shop. I don't understand. Like, hold on. Was this a glitch too? Did they also announce that this was a glitch? Because now... okay, so this one's being fixed 1 day, this one's being fixed day 1. Interesting, that's being fixed. Okay, so yeah, that is a lot of issues, and a lot more issues than they've had recently. But hey, how about this? Instead of jumping to the worst conclusion immediately, assuming that people are trying to rip you off, and like, look, I get it. We live in financially traumatized parts of the world. We are so used to scams and capitalism trying to take every fucking thing from us that we got, that we don't have any generosity to hand to a company anymore. But kind of feels like they fucked up because they were trying to do a little too much too fast. It feels like if you can look past that, most of this seems good. With, again, finally coming back to the bad exception, the one that I think is genuinely concerning is that this is going to be a free Viz Crunch. So let's move on to some hope. Now, as we saw in the producer's letter, this is, or the tickets that we received, again, excellent. Really enjoyed that. Like, that was just fun for me. I really enjoyed it. This is only part 1. There is also a part 2 and a part 3. And there are also potentially other things that could coincide with these that would be pretty neat. But, well, so I wrote this before finding out that the Gil Shards had been officially confirmed to be coming back. So part of my hope is already confirmed. That's pretty dope. But let's talk about just how to cope in general. I know some of you may not have access to a therapist, and I just want to say that I know that a lot of things are changing very fast. That you do have a strong sunk cost in this game. You've given it not only a lot of resources, but your time, your effort, your attention, your valuable memory space, memorizing all the fucking stats and what all the statuses do and everything like that. And I want to assure you that we're all going through this together, that this all affects us fairly equally among free-to-play or light spenders, and that it seems that a lot of the things that we were complaining about even yesterday, even this morning, have already been addressed and will be fixed and will probably be met with over-generous compensation in some ways. In that, typically, when Gumi drops the ball, they tend to, be a bit courteous in the way that they humbly ask for our forgiveness. And no, it's probably not what the people on Reddit are going to be demanding, and if you're trying to get a bunch of extra free viz to make up for that hurdle of the free viz crunch, I'm sorry, again, that's probably not going to happen. Because they do still want you to pay for pulls. That's how they keep the lights on, and if they don't keep the lights on, we don't have a game, okay? But I think that it's very possible that we end up getting more free ticket events like this, and maybe ones that work a little bit differently, so that, unlike this one, which really didn't benefit the newer players quite as much, who haven't spent much into this game and didn't really get a lot of tickets out of this. Maybe we can get something that's a little bit more focused on what you've spent over this couple of months and really reward people who stuck with the game even through this trying time. And I think that one of the biggest things, and again, this is something that I want to really encourage you to think about as you're getting upset with the way that you see this playing out. The way that you see this playing out is only happening in your head, for now. And remember that there are still 2 more events like this that will be coming in the future. So, I'm not really sure what the second one is going to be, but I would be really excited to see it be more, instead of just like one thing, like handing us a boatload of tickets, it's a number of things. Maybe we get double free guild or double guild shard pulls per day, like 20 instead of 10. Maybe barrack shards are increased or doubled for like a month. Maybe we get the shard quests doubled for a month or something. Like there's a bunch of different ways that they could kind of make some parts of this up to us. They could give us free pull tickets on every banner. That's a good way. Like, just a free 10 pull for everybody. To kind of make up for it, especially when they're running banners simultaneously, because look, they're probably going to have to. I mean, this is a 2.5 crunch. Unless they move it out another month, which would make it like a 3 to 6 crunch, they're going to have to cram some things in here. Like, what you're going to probably get used to seeing I think they're going to have to put a lot of units on their VC week. So a lot of units coming out alongside vision cards where that would usually be a 2-week cycle. I think that probably makes the most sense in how to do this. So it won't necessarily be collaborations coming super fast. It will be instead, or collaborations coming at the same time, but instead collaborations coming back to back to back. So giving us an extra little free tin pull, or maybe a slightly improved banner or something, or maybe there's like a worldwide banner on all of these that just gives you a couple, like a discounted 3 pull or something. There's a lot of ways to do this, but ultimately, this is the biggest one. This is the one I want to aim for, and this is how I hope September goes. So if anyone at Gumi is listening, and it kind of feels like you are, given the way that some of my previous concerns have been addressed very recently, thank you for that again. The one thing that would really make this just work a lot better is if you made one combined banner at the very end of this that had all of the units that were released through the crunch time on the roadmap to global time, or roadmap to worldwide time frame. Every one that we felt rushed through. And then give us tickets proportional to like every, say, 1,000 viz that we spent. Or every 500 viz that we every 1,000 viz that we spent, just in general, on anything, not just summons, but in-game period at all. Maybe even give extra summon tickets, or double summon tickets if that was paid viz. Reward the people who are actually spending into the game more heavily. Just give them a little bit back, because they will, maybe, perhaps, if, I don't know, people are good at stirring up angst, even though all of their concerns should have been addressed in this one day. It could be a little bit rough, but again, it seems like a pretty full recovery already. I'm kind of genuinely impressed by that. The one thing that would be really cool is getting all of those tickets to summon on a banner where I could theoretically pull any of those new units. That, or maybe even breaking that down. Like, you know, let's say I get 50 tickets for this, and there's like one banner for every month that has like 2 featured units, more like 4 featured units, or maybe 5, and 4 or 5 featured vision cards, so I can kind of narrow it down and aim for a couple specific things, or, you know, making them able to hit like a Warrior of the Crystals rerun thing, because Rafu is going to be part of this. There's just a lot of ways to go, and I see the value of this kind of free ticket event being a lot higher if you can hit those limited units that were released during this time. And that's a pretty direct way of thanking the player base for sticking around through this process. It's a great way of inspiring and rewarding our faith in the company and in the franchise in the long term, because, you know, with the Final Fantasy Brave Exvius and War of the Visions being such super stable games, it really makes me like believe in the future of this game in a way, and I would really like for that faith, that belief, to pay off. But other than that, and I think that this is my final piece of anything for this video, my final piece of advice to you as a human being, is that when something happens that makes you really almost irrationally upset, like disproportionately upset, like if you're getting genuinely furious about a video game, or something that, like, if you're getting furious because the bank wants to repossess your car, that's, you know, maybe you want to get on that. But if you're really mad and it's something that doesn't seem super important, just take a day. Just see if a little bit of time solves the problem. And if it is a video game, send a ticket to support. See what comes of it. And instead of like trying to infuriate the user base and like start a full bloody revolution against the gaming company, maybe just encourage people to make sure that their voices are heard. And then see how they respond. And, you know, realize that just because you're upset now doesn't mean that people have to respond to you immediately. Again, like, just chill out, take a breath, and like have a day, come back, see what happened, see if you're still upset. That's all I'm saying. I find that works with a lot of things. If I'm just getting too fucking into something and just too upset about it, just take a day, fucking take my mind off of it, do something else, come back to it. It's like, oh yeah, no, this is fine. I'll deal with this. I know exactly what I want to do now. Anyways, that's a little bit more philosophical than I usually get, but I've been Jackie Fox. If you've enjoyed this, be sure to like and subscribe. Check the link in the description for the Jackie Fox Media Empire. You can check my link tree for books. You can check my link tree for videos. You can check my link tree for podcasts of all sorts. And no matter where you find me, see you in the next one.